Hello, everyone, and welcome to another episode of Simply Sketchy. Today, I'm bringing with me my good friend Dave from Total Blackout Painting.
Hello.
Yeah,
Good
I met.
afternoon.
Good
Morning.
afternoon, morning, whatever fuck time of day is. Time zones are confusing,
Yep.
and we're gonna leave it at that. And today's subject, because I managed to kidnap this guy from America, my ability to kidnap is just amazing. Let's not talk about that too much. Uh, we are gonna cover a movie monster that you've had a bit of an obsession with lately.
Well, I've always had a real fascination with I mean, really, it kind of stems from Clive Barker because I love Clive Barker books. I've read a whole bunch of them, and I started reading them in high school. And I haven't read one. I've been listening to audiobooks of them recently. Um, but really, I really just like I like the motif of like the Hellbound Heart and the Hellraiser, um, the shows.
Yes.
Yeah, I like the motif of the shows and the motif from the books. In that just I, it, it's an interesting kind of interpretation of what the afterlife could be, of what you know it's kind of a take on I guess the whole story is kind of a take on be careful what you ask for
Yes.
kind
I,
of
I,
thing.
I haven't seen any of the or I haven't really seen much of any of the Hellraiser movie. I think I saw a little bit on like a pay-per-view video, like the a cable once, but I didn't finish it because it kind of freaked me out with some of the body horror. I was really young back then.
Yeah, it has a lot of body horror. It has a lot of it has a lot. I mean, it's the sadomasochistic themes in it, right? Which is a lot of it. That's the kind of the whole premise of the Cenobites. Um, well,
Yeah.
in the movie, that's the premise of the Cenobites is that they're kind of like sadomasochists, and that was Barker's intention for it. Also, he wanted uh, he wanted to portray that as the sadomasochistic interdimensional beings. So I think that the God, I kind of lost my train of thought there. Um,
That's all right. It happens a lot.
anyhow, so the that's the motif on them is that they really follow along that sadomasochistic theme, which isn't like not something I'm super into personally. Not trying to like hide some kind of closet fetish.
Don't
Uh,
worry, we won't kink shame you here.
yeah, well, no, you should. That's it. We need to bring that back. But no, so it's just I really like the kind of the motif of the leather. But all right, oh yeah. So I remember what I was talking about. Okay, so in the movie, they're kind of just more like the interdimensional sadomasochists. In the book, in the Hellbound Heart, which is a novella, it's small. It's like 100 something pages. Um, they are members of they're members of a religious order, and the order is called the Order of the Gash. Um, and it doesn't elaborate a lot on but I mean that falls along with a lot of Clive Barker stuff has that kind of body horror, cutting sadomasochism
Body
slashing.
horror, semi-sexual.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah, it does, which it is definitely, and he's admitted himself, is because he was, um, well, I mean, he's a gay man, grew up in the 70s and in the 80s and stuff, and so really kind of had that was the counterculture, right, for them at the time. And so anyhow, um, so a lot of his stuff has that kind of theme or some of his stuff has that theme of sadomasochism and like body horror and torture and I think in the 90s that was really kind of a popular thing too. Seems like there was a lot of that in the 90s, the kind of body horror stuff.
Yes.
um and honestly, Clive Barker and Neil Gaiman, they both kind of have similar writing and storytelling styles,
Yeah.
and they can both play with that. They both play with that body horror kind of motif, and they're personal friends in real life too, so
Hmm.
so it makes sense. um But anyhow, so there's a lot of books. There's the Books of Blood is a trilogy, and they're collections of short stories in there. Um, and one of the stories is about these two. There's two villages of people, and there's some ancient ritual they have to go through. And basically, what the people are compelled to do is form. They join together and form like these giant, like, mechs of people, right? Almost like this.
Oh,
That's this body horror where the people all get together and form into this giant person, and then the two entities end up fighting. It's freaking wild. It's a wild story.
fucking flesh mechs,
Yes, yeah, it's like flesh mechs.
bro.
Yeah, dude, and he describes it in pretty graphic detail.
Holy shit.
So,
Okay, go on.
so, but yeah, so that's the kind of like, so that's like body horror in his books. So, so that's again, so that's why it would be called like the order of. That's why they're the Order of the Gash, because it's a before we contemporarily started referring to Gash as something entirely different than they did in the, you know, back in the late 80s when this book was written.
Yep.
They're also, and I mentioned this in one of my videos too, is that they're also called the Hierophants. That's one of the things that they're called too. They're referred to, which is just, so they're members of a religious order, and it's basically a religious order dedicated to pain.
Yeah, I could kind of tell that with the meat hooks and shit.
So yeah,
Huh. So they're, but aren't they like supernatural beings? Aren't they kind of
they
the
are.
beings?
Yeah, they're supernatural beings. They're
But they're
so in the story,
uh,
they're
uh,
priests from another world. Like
oh,
that, where they're from is another. It's like a whole different world, and they are they're led by someone who's called the Engineer.
really?
And in the movie, the Engineer is just a giant, like, polyhedron. It doesn't really get described in the books.
Polyhedron? What is that in?
Or like a giant geometric shape,
Oh, right, right.
like a giant floating diamond, is what it
Oh,
is.
that shit. Yeah, yeah, poly. Okay,
Yeah,
okay. Sorry, I
yeah, no.
confused. I
Hey, no,
confused it
no.
with another Norwegian kicked in
That's
there. Sorry.
all good, dude. But that was the and like in the book, that's, or in the show, it shows that as the Engineer, but the Engineer is the one who's kind of running everything behind the scenes.
Right.
So
Ah, the engineer is engineering things.
yeah. So the story of the movie and the book is about a dude who, Frank, and then him coming back. And in the book, what happens is Frank is so Frank's like a pleasure chaser. He's an extreme hedonist, right?
Right?
He's gone to, he's been to opium dens, he's been to brothels, he does whatever, and so he's looking for the extreme limits of sensation. Um, and so that brings him to the box, Le Marchand's box, which is it's the puzzle box, and the puzzle box opens the gateway to the world of the Cenobites.
Right.
So, or the dimension where the Cenobites inhabit.
Right.
And the Cenobites want to bring people in because they want to torture people.
Yeah,
They
but
want to kill people. And it's
oh,
not
they
because
kill
they're
people. They
like,
don't convert people.
well, no, it's not. Well, I guess you can't really say kill because they can't die.
Yeah, because
You know.
from what I can tell from shit I've heard, to
Mhm.
become a Cenobite, you must first be tortured like a Cenobite. So everyone who gets like got in the different movies, they
Mhm.
end up becoming a Cenobite at some point.
Yeah, so that was a later. That's a later addition to the movie canon, and they added that in 3. Hellraiser 3 was where they put that in so that they could add in some new Cenobites because they couldn't, like, because the original story was the first movie is the story of the book.
Right.
Um, and then all the rest of the stuff is just Clive Barker and Hollywood making that stuff, which he's involved. So I don't want to, like, he directed the first movie, and I don't want to make it seem it's not like uh, they took his work and fucked it up without his permission. You know, he was involved,
Yeah.
and so like the changes and stuff that were made, and in my opinion, he's a much better screenwriter for his books than Stephen King is.
I mean,
Stephen,
Stephen King is a bit of what we call a hitter and a misser.
yeah, yeah. I don't think he's had a hit for a really fucking long time.
No, and also he's been drinking the Kool-Aid more than fucking
Yeah. Well, I
Neil
mean,
Gaiman.
cocaine eroded most of his the parts of his brain that he needs to actually think. So that is what it is. Can't go any further about that, or else we're gonna start talking about politics.
Uh-huh. Because
So
these two people have become really,
yeah,
really political. And Neil
and
Gaiman and
yeah, Neil
Stephen
Gaiman
King.
has. And you know what? If I'm honest, I would guarantee that Clive Barker has too, but I have not. I've not like that's one of those things where I don't want to. I don't want to start. I don't want to find out, so I haven't
No.
looked for it. Right? Like not like what is he doing now? Like nah, nothing like that. I
I
just
mean,
don't.
my biggest fucking mistake was figuring out what kind of person Mark Hamill truly is.
Jesus, for real, dude, for
That,
real.
oh god, now talk about a
That
shattered fucking childhood.
well, it's kind of I don't know. It's kind of emblematic of like why like you're an artist. Like I'm an artist, you're an artist, he's an artist, dance monkey. We're not necessarily here to hear your opinions.
Yeah,
Right? I'm like, it's cool if we can give our opinions on stuff, but like in the end, my opinion on anything really doesn't mean much of anything either.
no.
Okay, so but anyways, um, so yeah, they added that later where the people got tortured and that's or how they were killed or whatever, and that's how they had the dude in the third movie that was like a fucking DVD player or something like that. But I didn't really I didn't watch that.
Nah.
And I have watched ones after that where it's just and it and his and help Pinhead's motivations. And this is the really interesting part of the whole thing is that Pinhead is not the main Cenobite in the book.
Isn't he?
No, he's not. The one in the movie that they call it's a rap. Now I've lost it. It's the fat one in the movie. Anyhow, the fat one is generally the fat one is the one that's the leader of the Cenobites. Pinhead was a minor character.
But
So now
apparently
you got the
his character
yeah.
ended up
But so
changing.
here's the thing was is that the and I said that I put when I did my Hellraiser video, I went through all the fun facts because I did some research just because I was curious and so Butterball, that's the character's name is Butterball.
Butterball?
Butterball is yeah, it's Butterball, Chatters, Whispers, and Pinhead
Holy
are
shit.
the name of the original four. So Butterball is actually the leader of the Cenobites in the book.
Really?
In the movie, yeah, Pinhead is just a minor character in the movie and only mentioned like ancillarily, just talking about and like they're an attendant almost.
All right.
Um, but the costume for Butterball, if for the movie, made it so that the actor couldn't talk.
Oh.
They couldn't hear him when he tried to deliver lines and stuff, and so he just couldn't talk. And so all of his lines got given to Pinhead.
Oh, okay.
And then and he wasn't called Pinhead in the first movie. He was just called Lead Cenobite. Like if you look in the credits, it's not Pinhead, it's Lead Cenobite. It wasn't until Hellraiser 2 that they started calling him Pinhead.
Yeah. Huh. That's interesting. That is. I like that form of cinematic evolution. Essentially, what it is, adaptive cinematic evolution.
It really is. Well, I think what it actually, I mean, yeah, I mean, and to me, what it represents is that the evolution of the film or of the evolution of the story beyond the books, to
Yes.
where the movies have their own lore. But then again, the movies have more lore than the book does.
Yeah.
You
Well,
know.
it's kind of like, yeah, again, I always bring this up because it's a good example. How Lord of the Rings the movie is, in my opinion, I view the movies as separate from the books, just having
Mhm.
it's just a different iteration of the saga itself.
Yeah, yeah,
I'm really bad at explaining shit, but essentially it's
yeah.
that,
No, no.
yeah, it's the same story but different versions of it, which is kind of why
Yeah.
I can handle some of the changes in it. And it is a,
Hmm.
well, it's an adaptation, and it's a pretty darn good adaptation too. It's an
Right.
adaptation that respects the source material despite its changes.
Right. Yeah, that's a very good way to put it. That it respects the source material despite the changes it made. And I remember when it came out, and I was kind of like, "Where's Glorfindel?"
Yes.
You know. But but then and then I realized like, oh, they put Liv Tyler in there because that's gonna sell. That's gonna put butts in seats. Like, okay, I can't. I'm like, I'm okay with that.
Yeah.
Whatever. Especially like at the time I was a little sore, but now I am more than okay with it in light of how bad the recasting and all the other nonsense has gotten on things.
And it's just a good fucking movie too.
They are.
The
They are.
quality when you do an adaptation that strays off even mildly from
Hmm.
the source material, the adaptation lives or dies by how good it actually is.
Yeah, no, I agree.
The changes must be made to develop the story, not to spite the story.
Right. They should be made in service of it.
Exactly. That's a better word for it.
Yeah. And I think that so the changes Parker made was because he had a movie, and I'm kind of working off the top of my head. He had a movie done previously, but directed by somebody else, and he just didn't like how it was done. And so he wrote The Hellbound Heart, kind of intentionally meaning to make it into a screenplay.
Hmm.
And so he wrote and published the book, and then wrote the screenplay like immediately.
Huh.
And because the book was really popular, I mean, it's a good book, and it's super short, so it's super quick. Like I think the audio book on you can find it on YouTube, and it's like 2 hours long.
Oh,
Something,
neat.
it's nothing. So
Go on.
so um anyhow, so I think that his, again, like, yeah, the changes he made to the story, and they made that change like on the set. They tried to shoot the scenes with Butterball saying the lines, but they couldn't.
Hmm.
So Barker, who's directing the show, directing the movie, was like, "Hey, okay, you do the lines." And the actor's name is Doug Bradley. He's the guy who played Pinhead, and that was kind of like he got skyrocketed from there.
Creation
But
of
it
an
was,
icon,
yeah,
basically.
exactly. That's what I say. It's such an iconic character.
I
They
love
had
it.
the
Yeah.
pins all over it, and then the puzzle box is just, I don't know. I always thought that was kind of such a cool. I'm trying to think of the word for it.
Gizmo.
Like a cool backstory kind of thing.
Oh, yes, yes.
You know what I mean?
It gives that mysterious kind of lore. Even if it's a puzzle box and you're supposed to figure it out, you never
Yeah,
really figure it out. It is just a big fucking mystery. But it's the worst kind of big mystery. You know that regardless of how this mystery plays out, it will fuck you up.
yeah.
The
Well, and so
what's the word I'm looking for? The eldritch truth in a way.
yeah, yeah. That's a good way to put it. Like it's a. I love that term, eldritch. I really
Yes.
do like that term. Um,
Popular for a fucking reason, buddy.
yeah. So, and it's kind of that again. Yeah, like uh, that unknowable, unspeakable horror.
Yes.
kind of thing. But yeah, so that tangent started. I was talking about the story of the box.
Yeah.
Uh, so anyhow, Frank was the book's about Frank, and Frank's the guy in the movie that they bring back to life. Um, so and the reason why that happens is like Frank is in this room in his house, and like he sold everything to get this box, um, and he's like so overwhelmed with he's so like overwhelmed with the feeling that he ejaculates, and that is how he's able to be brought back. So, and the story of the book is like, or in the story of the movie, I think it shows that Frank died, and so they don't ever show anything about him ejaculating, and that being like
I mean, I guess that's a
the
bit too
reason why he
far,
was
huh?
brought back. Yeah, it makes sense. Um, but so yeah, in the movie, Frank, that's where he's killed by the Cenobites or ripped apart, whatever, and so Rory cuts his hand in the room and spills blood on the floor, and that's what triggers Frank coming back.
Hmm.
And like the escape, he used that as a way to escape, and kind of in the book, I always took it as like he was reborn through his own semen,
Yeah.
you know.
Yeah,
And
I could see that one.
a lot of Clive Barker's books have a lot of that kind of like male exclusivity theme to them, right? They're not because he's a gay man,
I
right? And
mean,
so he's
it
trying to,
makes sense. It makes sense.
yeah. So which you know, but anyhow, Frank gets the box. The box was created by a mad Frenchman named Le Marchand, and he was supposedly guided. I think they think he was guided secretly by the engineer to create the box. But there's actually hundreds of boxes out there, according to the lore of the movies. There's
Oh,
hundreds of boxes out there.
in the world or in the universe?
Yeah, in the world,
Okay. Holy shit.
So, yeah. So there's lots of boxes for them to, um,
Manifest through, I guess.
yeah, for them to manifest through. That's a good way to put it.
I mean, if they're outer worldly, and they need a
Yeah,
medium to enter the world. I mean, okay, I'm gonna put it like this before we continue. You
yeah.
do know about Berserk, right?
Oh yeah.
Yes. Do you know the God Hand, the main villains?
Yeah.
Yeah. Or they're kind of the main villains. They're main antagonists along with Griffith. Uh, Especially Void. They're all based upon the Cenobites.
Oh, really? I see now that because I didn't actually have it. I know about Berserk, but I'm not super intimate with the story.
Yeah, yeah.
Got a buddy who has all the books, but
Oh
that's
yeah. Miura took heavy inspiration. I mean,
yeah.
just Google the God Hand and just look at her design, and they have this incredible fucking Geiger-esque Cenobite design to them.
Mm,
Void is my favorite design. He's just this
mm.
giant brain with arms and a cape
That's
and a cape.
awesome. Yeah, that's one thing I also kind of because I know the motif is different, but it is very similar between the Hellraiser motif and like a full-on H.R. Geiger thing.
Yes.
Because I don't think this is just more like this doesn't seem necessarily techno-organic.
No.
You know what I mean?
I mean,
It seems supernatural.
It is. It is supernatural. The thing about Geiger's work is that it is, at least from what I can tell, it is organic matter treated like machines,
Yeah.
which is sort of a body horror, sort of a horror beauty in itself. Like, it
Yeah.
really delves into the beauty of the macabre, which I'm really into.
Yeah. Yeah, I agree. And I don't know, I mean, I've been doing a lot of, I've been playing with that a lot, making images with that stuff lately. That kind of the H.R. Geiger-esque,
Yes.
the H.R. Geiger-esque themes with the techno-organic and just because I really, it to me has a very, I don't know, it has a very striking quality to it
Yeah.
that when done in a certain way, it just, I don't know, maybe it's just my autistic brain.
I mean,
It's
it
like,
makes sense. It
it's like
fucking
the
makes
counting toothpicks on the ground. I see all the hoses and pipes and everything, and the way that the claws and all that stuff move, and like the tails and the spikes,
Yeah.
and I just think it's rad.
It's fucking beautiful. I
It's
mean,
so cool.
not only as a special effect thing, but also as just the creature itself. It just builds so much about what the alien is. Like
Oh
I
yeah.
I love this weapon because that's what these xenomorph is. It is a perfect organism, but a living weapon,
Hmm.
and it makes so fucking so much perfect. It's words. It makes such perfect sense that it is because it only lives through murdering something else. It needs a host to fully grow. It
Yep.
doesn't work, and that is essentially a weapon because it goes on a rampage, finishes the rampage, and with no more hosts to infect to prolong its existence, it goes into this
Yep.
dormant, inactive state, so that the owners or the ones who use the weapon can just come in and pick up the pieces.
Yep.
Kind of like how,
Yeah.
yeah. Have you seen? Sorry for going to another movie, but
No, go for it, dude.
have you seen the movie The Tomorrow War? You know the Chris Pratt one where they go into the future fighting these.
No,
Nah,
I haven't seen that.
it is a pretty decent movie actually, and
Yeah.
they're fighting a race of aliens, which was confirmed by the director that they are a designed weapon, which is why they're so effective, reproduces so swiftly.
Huh.
But over time, they don't. They only have one queen, essentially,
Uh.
and without her, the race just dies out, which is their whole point. They go to a planet,
Right.
they kill everything there, and
And then everything dies.
yep.
They eliminate all the life on the planet. That's I mean, that would be a good terraforming technique for a bunch of aliens that just wanted to kill everything. They just wanted a dead planet to work from.
I mean, better to eliminate them like that because then they'll just eat everything there, devour it,
Right.
leave us. If you make them purely predatorial, like they only eat meat, right?
Yeah.
That would leave all the vegetation unharmed.
Yeah. Yeah.
Of course,
You know,
if you really
because you
really
fuck up the ecosystem, you're gonna,
yeah.
but
I mean, it leaves the most hardy vegetation if you want to try and keep something alive. But essentially, if you're able to program it to only go after a certain kind, you'll have a fucking planet on your hands within like a few generations.
yeah.
But yeah, that's my tangent. I'm sorry, I just had to. Fucking hell.
Yeah. But anyhow, so the theme of Hellraiser is more about a personal hell
Yes.
than, but it does. I think it does have some of those kind of Geiger-esque themes. It does seem like there's some Geiger-esque themes in there. Um, but I think the Geiger-esque themes might be that because Geiger's stuff kind of coincides with. It looks a little bondagey too.
I mean, the just look at the alien's head and you'll see exactly
Yeah.
what.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
I'm just
No,
saying. I
and
think Geiger might have been a closeted homosexual.
well, no, he did. I don't know if he was closeted, but he did. He did portraits of women. He didn't do a lot of actual portraits of dudes.
Oh,
His stuff may look kind of penisy, but I think that's just kind of by virtue of most long, skinny things looking penisy. Um,
well, you got a point there. I mean, our humor, our humor is just that, I suppose. You got me
yeah,
there.
yeah, that's true. Everything, it's dick jokes all the way down, Jim.
Yep, just dick jokes. You thought it was some kind
Yeah,
of great cosmic truth? Nope, just a dick joke.
just dick jokes. So uh, yeah, the the fucking techno-organic stuff isn't like, and you can kind of see it in the movie, but it doesn't. It looks far more brutal. It looks far more barbaric. Like H.R. Geiger's stuff looks clean,
Yes. Again,
right? Like
it's
the Geiger,
designed.
it is. It is designed. It's very clean, and as to where this is a very, very kind of rough and I don't in your face kind of style almost, but not. But it's like it's dangerous looking. It's
Yes.
dangerous in a different way.
Dangerous because it's less ordered and just made through chaos. Essentially, it
Yeah.
seems more like a dude who found something out and never wanted to work out the kinks in it because the result is just too good.
Yeah. No, yeah, the differences are, are pretty like the differences are kind of interesting when you start drilling down on them. Like the difference of similarities.
Yeah.
But yeah, so the Cenobites, they're not evil per se. They're more just entirely amoral. They're not trying to torture people because they hate them. They're torturing them to give them the experience of being tortured.
Yeah.
They're torturing them to make them let them understand that like the difference between pleasure and pain in their realm is really kind of academic, because what they're really searching for is the extremity of sensation.
Huh. I
And
guess
so
I guess I know where the Dark Eldar in Warhammer got their inspiration.
yeah, it's true. It's very much like that. It's very much like that. Um, that like black hedonistic, like blatantly.
Yeah. So
Um,
essentially, the Cenobites are like the Dark Eldar if they actually ended up being allied with Slaanesh instead of actually being on its menu.
right. Yeah, it could be that way. That's kind of a good way to put it, because they are in a sense like asexual beings that are they're asexual beings that are because they're not like the things they do. It's sadomasochistic, and it's loosely sexual, but it's not meant to be like it's sadomasochistic. It's meant to be like fetishy. It's not meant to be fucking like sexy per se.
I mean, that is
It's
what a
more
fetish.
visceral.
Yeah, it's an ex. I mean, fetishes are by definition sexual, but I guess
Oh yeah, yeah.
I know what you mean. It is too extreme to have any kind of wholesomeness in it, right? There's nothing
Yes, yeah.
wholesome in it, nothing romantic. It's just pleasure,
Yep.
dark pleasure for the
That's
sake of pleasure, really.
that's the way to put it. There's nothing romantic to it.
Yeah.
Right. It's carnal.
Yes.
That's the word. That's the word I'm looking
This
for.
is
It's
why
more
you kink
carnal.
shame, ladies and gentlemen.
Yes. Yeah, exactly. Um, yeah, because otherwise you get weirdos like Frank who summon demons into the world.
Yeah, a coomer cooming so hard that demons pop out. Cooming demons. Holy shit.
Demonic tumors.
Oh god.
Oh, that's hilarious.
I'm gonna coom. Hello, I'm a demon from hell.
Yeah. It's funny because that's essentially what the story of the book is. Some fucking degenerate Coomer fucking Cooming so hard that he wants to summon a demon. That's exactly what the book is.
uh,
Frank was looking for the best way to get his rocks off,
yeah.
and he
There it
found
is.
out that
Say what it said. Frank, a dude who
oh
cooming
no,
so.
yeah, that's exactly what happened. Frank was just an extreme Coomer that fucking coomed the Cenobites into existence with the box,
Jesus fucking
right?
Christ.
And
Oh, so messed up.
initially, like the story is meant to be that you have to have intention. Like you can't well, one, you can't just solve the box necessarily. Like the boxes don't just open for anybody. You have to have the intention of opening the box. That way it's not just sprung on supposedly. Of course, I think they changed that in the movies later too. But ostensibly, the idea was that the box had to be opened with intention,
Yeah.
so that it couldn't just be open randomly.
Sort of like giving into your darker curiosities and temptations. It's man,
Yeah,
there's a lot of you can have a lot of good moral points to this movie too.
yeah, yeah. I mean, well, you can take moral lessons from a lot of these. You can take moral lessons from a lot of these horror movies that I don't think the authors actually meant to put it out there, but they
Uh,
totally do.
I mean, it's one of those cases where the audience sees something different than what the author might intend.
Yeah,
I
for
mean,
sure.
for all we know, this series might be nothing more but him just writing down his favorite kinks.
You know, some of it could be. I think he's already done that in other books, though, if I'm honest. Guy's got a pretty wide catalog.
Oh
Um,
boy.
so I mean, he's got a lot of books. Is what I'm saying. He's written a lot of books. So and there's some weird shit in some of them.
Of course.
So obviously, like this is just the one that made it to fucking screen. And I told you about the flesh mechs, and that's
Yes.
not even the worst ones.
Flesh
So
mix sound fucking cool though.
it does sound cool. But
Moving
reading
or not.
about it is kind of like it's kind of like, oh my god, like if this like was a thing that people actually had to do, like just how utterly horrifying that would be.
I know
Like,
that's fucked up, but it's
and
also kind of
that's kind of the way it's described. It like
yes.
that's the point of view the story is told from a little bit. It's not so
Let's see. Oh,
yeah.
here comes my worst enemy. Fucking ugh.
Respect move.
It hurts. It hurts. It fucking hurts. I'll make it work. There you go. All right, let's keep on going.
So no, I think that looks good. I think
Thank you.
you're I think you're doing okay with it. Um,
Excellent.
the hand looks weird because of their hands look weird, even in the movie.
Yeah,
Their
I
hands look
saw
weird.
that. Like, holy
Yeah,
shit! If this
just
is
having that,
if this is the
like,
actor's real fingers, he's got some fucking issues.
yeah, the but no, the little pinky thing that they wore, like that pinky glove.
Yeah.
I have no idea what that's for. Like, I could only imagine that just driving me absolutely insane.
I
Because
actually,
my
this is a
uh,
real thing though. Artists
oh
used this on
yeah,
their fingers.
yes, I know left-handed artists use them a lot. So that they're not, and left-handed people use them on so that they're not smearing their writing and stuff like that. But
Yep.
it would drive my autistic brain absolutely nuts to
Yeah.
have to wear it. Just the feeling of just the thing. Yeah, I don't know.
Don't start.
It's
Please
weird.
don't.
Yeah. So anyhow,
Fucking
the
tisms.
hands look weird.
Yeah, they do. I mean, I can get away with on this one because again, drawing hands is fucking hard. First of
Yeah.
all, but it kind of what usually would count as mistakes in this situation kind of works out in this drawing's benefit because it's
Yeah.
just so messed up.
Yeah. So so that's why there was a whole bunch of boxes and people had to have the intention to open them. Christy, the girl who the girl in the first movie. So what had happened was the story of the first movie is Frank has a brother, Rory, and Rory has a wife, and Rory's wife cheated on him with Frank because Frank was a wild dude, so of course he was the bad boy.
Of course.
And so then they move into. So Frank disappears. Frank dies,
Okay.
because Frank gets pulled into the box. He and Rory has a friend named Christy, and she's who the movie ends up being about. Christy's the one who opens the box to let the Cenobites out, because the beginning of the movie starts with Frank opening the box and then basically dying. It doesn't show the Cenobites or anything like that until later. So Frank, what was it? Oh, so Rory gets killed.
Right.
Because his wife kills a whole bunch of dudes, and then eventually Frank kills Rory, whatever. So Christy is Rory's friend, and she ends up in a fucking asylum. In the show, in the movie, she ends up in an asylum, and she has the box,
Oh.
and she ends up, because she's like kind of spaced because her friend died, right? And so she's kind of like got a little bit of a psychotic break, and she opens the box, and so
Inside a
she
mental asylum.
yeah, inside a mental asylum. And so she was a little she was kind of crazy about it and obsessive about it, opening the box. And then in the next movie, in Hellraiser 2, they have a little deaf autistic girl open the box.
Oh.
So because she wanted to open the box, like they gave her a puzzle. It's like, you have to finish the puzzle. And so she had to finish the puzzle, and so that's why like the kind of intentionality there came from.
Yeah.
For the second movie. But in the second movie, which the second movie is really good too. The second movie is the story of, god damn it, I can't remember the bitch's name. Oh, I gotta Google it really quick.
Some fucking bitch.
Julia. So Julia, so it's Rory and Julia.
Right.
So Julia is they're trying to revive Julia in the second movie.
They're trying to revive her. Oh, so
bring her back. Like in Frank, like the first movie, they're trying to bring Frank back, and Julia ends up getting murdered by the Cenobites at the end of the movie,
right.
with Frank in the house. And so they kind of go through that same process to bring Julia back in the second movie.
Yeah, because the cube is able to restore people back from the dead.
Well, it's not so much the cube; it's that she escaped the Cenobite world.
Oh, right.
Yeah, so she escaped the Cenobite world through her her blood in our physical world.
Okay. So you might still survive it, even if it'll. You die when you're taken, but you can still escape and not be dead. It's a bit confusing, but I can work with it.
You die in the sense that you leave the mortal world.
Yes.
Right. So I guess you could call that dying, but you're really getting sucked into another plane that you can't die, where your spirit can't leave your body.
That's fair.
So you get tortured and ripped to shreds, and then eventually they take a piece of you and stick it to a wall somewhere, and you spend the rest of eternity as a chunk of writhing flesh on a wall or on a hook in a deep labyrinth. Like awful and grim. Like it's like that's the whole motif. It's supposed to be horrifying and grim, so I guess that's why it's a horror movie.
I mean, some people I guess would be into that, but ew.
Yeah. I guess I really like that in the horror movie, in that genre too, is that like just kind of unspeakable horror.
Yeah, again, that's what makes it. That's why I call it Eldritch, because that's the core of Eldritch. Mm-hmm. It's sort of this unspeakable, unknowable, and not unknowable in that you cannot truly understand. It's that if you understand it, it'll break you. It'll ruin you. It is something that a human is not yet prepared to handle. It is for things above us, in a way.
And there is that aspect to this, but then additionally with the Clive Barker horror, there's also the aspect of, well, it's not entirely unknowable, right? Like, you could actually, in your mind, if you thought about it enough, imagine being like how that you can imagine the mind, like in your mind, you can kind of imagine the horrifying feeling of being stuck in a pit, like the hopeless feeling of just being stuck in a dark pit.
But it's
still
like beyond you. Right?
Well, yeah, no, but it's a lot different than because you can put voice to it. right? Like you can express what is horrifying about that. What's horrifying about being stuck in a pit, like that. I think that's kind of the little bit of difference there
Yeah, I
between the
see that.
eldritch horror and but it is still like it's an unworld and other natural, a supernatural horror. It's an otherworldly horror.
It's how do I do get it. I do understand what you said. It's
Mm.
just I'm shit at explaining. The point is that our
Yeah,
explanations are only scraping the top of what it truly means, right?
yeah,
If we ever were
yep.
to be, say, you speak a language you only understand words of, and should you ever be able to speak the actual language, your mind will just rupture, essentially,
Yeah,
for a
yeah.
better lack of a term.
No, yeah, no. I know. I get what you're saying. No, yeah, I understand that. I think that's yeah. I think that um I think that's a little different than the body horror though, if I'm honest.
That's fair. That's fair.
Because I think the horror in the body horror is with the relatability to it,
Yeah.
right? Like the mutilation of a body is what is mortifying because you can empathize with that,
Yes.
you know.
I mean, we developed empathy as sort of a structure to protect
Yeah.
ourselves. At least that's one of the main theories.
So it does play, it plays on both of them because the Cenobites do represent that kind of that eldritch horror from beyond that you couldn't actually fully comprehend, and if you did, your mind would explode. But then it also represents that kind of like visceral body horror that you, because you can understand it, you can relate to it, that itself is part of the horror too.
Yeah. 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 Definitely.
Here comes the fun part.
Here comes the detail for the detail.
Yeah.
Again, it's not gonna be one for one, but it's a
Oh no.
it's a nice challenge. I'll do my
Yeah.
best.
Getting the perspective on the pins will be.
A bitch.
You're doing pretty good on it though.
Thank you. Let's see. I just did fucking looking at the pictures here. It's like, holy shit. It's
Yeah.
this gotta hurt when he put on the
So
mask.
by the time these movies were done, like the actor was so good at helping to apply this makeup that he actually got a credit. As he got an artist credit for
Oh, that's
help in the
cool.
movie for helping to put his makeup on.
He's so
Like,
good at fucking putting on his own makeup that he gets credit for it. That's
yeah,
badass.
he was so he'd been through it so many fucking times, and he just knew like how to help do it. So he's like, he got a credit for putting on his own makeup,
Yeah, we
which
don't
you
have
gotta
actors
think
like
like,
that anymore.
right. As I say, you gotta think as a director, that's like somebody you really want to work with.
Oh yeah.
Like he's super dedicated to it, not like Jennifer fucking Lawrence who pissed and moaned about the Mystique costume, you know,
Don't remind
and
me.
then not like Rebecca Romaine, the first Mystique who just took it like a champ. She was awesome.
She was hot too. I mean,
Her Mystique was
Jennifer Lawrence is hot too, but
yeah.
a bit annoying.
Her mouth does a lot of work to fucking put that fire out.
I read that completely differently.
Okay, well, the stupid shit she says makes her unattractive.
Yes,
Yeah.
definitely. That's oh man, don't you hate it when you see a hot chick and as soon as if she has a shit personality, she just becomes disgusting. Like I guess women have moments like that too, where they see this one guy who's attractive, but if he does something that gives the wrong impression, it just drops, or maybe don't. I don't fucking know. I don't understand women. I'm single for a reason.
Right.
Anyway, that aside,
Yeah.
women, am I right?
I regret to inform you,
Women.
gentlemen. No,
Oh,
this is going really good, dude. The pins are looking really good.
thank you.
But I can only imagine like having so in the book it describes a person with bisected lines on their face with a jeweled pin nailed into the bone at each bisection.
Oh,
So these pins are not just like stuck in his skin, they're nailed into his fucking bone. Except for of course the nose. But and I don't think that was, I mean, if they probably went strictly by the book's description, I don't think they would have put it on the nose. But it's such a cool effect for the movie,
yeah.
you know. I think you need one more line at the bottom of the chin, right where that pin going down the chin.
Like this?
Yeah, yeah,
I can, fuck it, I'll add that.
yeah. Because they should, you know, the lines go all the way down his face. So,
Yes.
yeah.
Good. Thank you. Here in Trim's Art Check, artists help
Man,
artists.
could you imagine having fucking jeweled pins nailed in your face? Seems like that would be uncomfortable.
I
It
mean,
seems suboptimal at best.
have you seen today's piercing standards?
Yeah. You
I'm
know,
pretty, I'm pretty sure someone has fucking tried it.
probably. That's part of another part of the reason why I really, because when I was younger, I was really into like the extreme body modification scene. I really like tattoos, and I still love tattoos and stuff like that. Um, I wish I had more, but they're fucking expensive.
Hmm.
But now, like, tattoos are kind of like such a goofy, trendy thing. It just wasn't that way when I was a kid.
Nah, I mean, to me, tattoo is something you, to pardon the expression, to express yourself, but rather you can use it in a way to express your love for something.
Yeah, yeah. Oh no, yeah, definitely. Your dedication, devotion,
Yeah, I mean,
and
I have my three tattoos is based upon the things I enjoy, like the IPs I love, Legend of Zelda, Elden Ring, and Transformers.
yeah, that
Surprisingly,
makes
no one.
sense. Yeah, yeah. Probably could have guessed all those.
Yes.
Um, now but it's so common for like every fucking barista has a sleeve full of tattoos anymore. It seems like, right? So
Baristas, chefs, holy shit, dude.
yeah. Oh yeah, chefs like yeah. Which you know, I mean, tattoos are fucking cool, and
They are.
if
Or
I didn't have
rather,
to raise a family, I
if they
probably
have
would
a
have fucking
meaning. Again,
yeah.
I
Well,
only
no,
approve of tattoos that have a meaning. You gotta have a meaning behind them. Like, I prefer the people who tattoo the names of their late loved ones more than
uh-huh,
someone who just do that weird tribal insignia bullshit.
right. Well, no, so but the thing is like that's a like I I get what you're saying, um, but like tattoos have meaning to the individual. Like most tattoos have meaning to the individual,
Yeah.
and so yeah, I 100% agree with you that tattoos should have meaning, but you can't always tell the meaning of a tattoo by looking at it.
No, but that's half the joy of
You
it.
know,
You see someone with
that's
a tattoo and you ask it for a meaning. That it's a
right,
story essentially.
right.
I love stories, and
No,
hearing
and
someone's
it
story for a
seems like
tattoo.
well, and people get tattoos so fucking flippantly now.
Yeah.
You know, that's the thing, and that's why I say, you know, every barista has a fucking sleeve. It's like, yeah, let me tell you, that fucking 24-year-old barista has not lived enough life to have enough memories to fucking require a sleeve full of tattoos to make that memory.
Or
You know,
live the
also
pathetic fucking
guarantee you that
life.
that big titty anime girl he's got on his fucking shoulder next to the octopus and the rose and the skull,
Mm.
you know,
Ah, ah, ah.
like I'm just saying, there's a lot of,
Let's put it
but
like
I
this.
don't
I
necessarily.
might like some hentai every now and then, but not to that point.
Yeah,
Let's see. So, you want to continue talk more? I know we tangent a lot. That's the thing.
I know.
That's why I love having you here, or being on your side, dude. Because we always start tangenting shit and just get deep diving into stuff, which I fucking love. But
Yeah.
yeah, just keep telling the story about this masochistic freak here.
Yeah. So, get back to hell, get back to Pinhead. The and in the book, it was kind of in the book they didn't actually say whether it was kind of they were kind of androgynous in the book. So, but then again, that goes back to the book not like the character in the book not being even close to the same in the movie.
I mean, the thing about
So
androgyny is that you can. To me, androgyny is. Many people have fetishized androgyny lately, but to me,
yeah,
androgyny is it's sort of an uncanny valley thing, which I
I
love it when it's
agree.
used in horror. Have you seen the movie Splice?
Yes,
That is the
yes, actually,
best
yeah,
fucking use of androgyny in any movie ever, because this
yeah,
that is a creature that is literally capable of evolving on the spot, and it can just change its sex from one thing to another
right.
in the worst way possible. I'm pretty sure some people got an awakening from that movie too, let's be honest.
Right. So yeah, and I agree that uncanny valley kind of thing. That yeah, oh yeah, this is looking really cool.
Thank you. I'm having a lot of fun doing this.
But then that uncanny valley of like that androgyny of the uncanny valley is because it's unnatural,
Yes, I mean,
right? Like that's so it's it bugs you because it's unnatural. It's like something shouldn't be that way. Something
yes,
should be more clearly defined.
exactly.
So oh shit, there was a movie called Thale, I think it was.
Ballet?
I think it was actually even a Norwegian movie. It's about a guy that he finds a baby in the forest, but it turns out to be a fawn, like a satyr.
Oh, shit.
Yeah,
A
it's a
Norwegian
fairly old
movie?
movie. But then it's a horror movie, and it's spelled Thale.
Thale. And
A-L-E. Yeah,
if you can Google it and just DM it to me,
yeah, dude. I should do that.
maybe I've seen it.
2012.
2012.
What was it? 2012.
We'll figure it out. Anyway,
I'm gonna send you the IMDb through.
do it.
Yeah,
Do it.
we gotta get to the
Gotta get to the point of this. Adopting fiends
gotta
from the
get to the place.
forest.
Anyhow, yeah. So that's the you just check that out.
Yeah.
That movie because yeah, I'm pretty sure. In fact, I'm pretty sure the copy of it I have is in Norwegian with English subtitles.
Ah, Thale. Thale. Oh, dude,
Yeah,
no. That's a Hulder. Ah, Thale. That is the English version of a Hulder. We call heavily accented. Sorry.
yeah,
It's
no, yeah,
essentially a forest. Kind of. It's a fey creature, right? Norwegian
yeah,
creatures are of the, I guess, the closest variant for English translation. They are fey,
yeah.
and they're malicious fey. They like to jump around the water's edge or even dance on top of the water,
Right.
tempting men close to the water so they can drown your ass. And you can recognize them by their tail.
Uh,
Yeah.
so that must be what this is about then,
Yes. And
because the girl has a tail.
exactly.
So
She's a Hulder, and they
yeah,
are incredibly beautiful. But since they're like of the troll race of trolls,
yeah,
they are again incredibly beautiful. But they are fey connected to lakes, and outside of the lake, they're as a human. But in the water, they are in charge. That's where their power emanates from. You cannot
yeah,
defeat a Hulder in the water. Even the strongest man will be just destroyed,
yeah.
and not in a good
That
way.
sounds like that sounds like nymphs, like water
Yeah,
nymphs
they're a
and
nymph.
other things.
Yeah,
Yeah,
they're
that's
they're a
interesting.
nymph. They're a nymph.
We I guess since we're on the subject of Norwegian mythology, real briefly, I took my son to see Death Clock. not too long ago. It's like a couple weeks ago. Took him to see Death Clock in concert, and they played that song "Awaken," which I don't know. Have you seen that Metalocalypse episode, or have you seen Metalocalypse?
Awaken?
Yeah. So, so there's an episode of Metalocalypse where they end up killing a bunch of people at a concert in Norway because they kill a lot of people at all their concerts. And so to apologize, they took some song like that was supposedly some ancient Norwegian chant for something, and they sing this song, and it turns out that it's like a spell to fucking summon this giant troll. And so they summon this giant troll, and he kills a shit ton of more people, and then they end up having to blow it up with something. It's just this wild, over the top shit that's just like what Metalocalypse does. It was fantastic, but anyhow, they played that song and played the video of the fucking guy stomped through the countryside, killing everybody. So yeah, I like the openings on the chest there. That's a good touch. I always thought that was a really interesting, because if you look at their costumes, they're like actually kind of interwoven into their skin in some places. So
I like it. It's disturbing, unnerving.
yeah.
Of course, there's a lot of ha-ha fetish jokes here, but you can make some shit really disturbing. I mean, that's what fetish attire is. It's just unnerving.
I think that's a good way to put it. Yeah. Like the fetish is just an embracing of something that normally would be unnerving to you.
Yeah.
You know?
You go too far, and that is never a good thing. And that is essentially why you shame people for having these weird fucking tendencies. It's
That's why. You should. Otherwise, you're going to end up summoning Cenobites into your fucking world, and
yeah, and suddenly we got to deal with your bullshit.
Yeah, and in the movies, we'll go back to that. The themes, like their motivations change dramatically from show to show.
Right.
From movie to movie. Like they're mostly the same in the first two. Like in the first two, they are just trying to fulfill they got the box, someone opened the box, they took that person, and then they escaped, and so they need to bring that person back because nobody escapes us. You don't get the fuck away from us. You are ours forever. We own you.
So they're the overly attached girlfriend, huh?
Kinda like that. Yeah, that's a good way to put it.
You will not escape this relationship. You belong to me.
But then in the third one, that one was called Hell on Earth, and they started like attacking random people, right? And that's when they started trying to and that's when the mythos of if you die in a horrifying way, you become a Cenobite, and it's because there was a bunch of people dying in the fucking really horrifying and weird ways in there, and so they were making them Cenobites because.
So they were doing recruiting, huh?
It was. So it was kind of like. I'm trying to think of a good way to put it. It was almost like the MCU-ification of the universe, you know what I mean? They were trying to make some goofy subset of rules, and then all of a sudden create a global problem that was normally only one guy's problem. Right? Like the Cenobites became the world's problem instead of just being
Cenobites became specific Disney.
Yeah, kind of in a way. But really, all that represents is just the Hollywood bastardization of an IP.
Yeah,
they just take it and take it too
far,
and too far, and too far.
Right? Need a sequel for
well, the first one made money.
Yeah.
That's really kind of what they all come down to. Is the first one made money? It's like, dude, that's not a good enough fucking reason, dude.
I've gone to the part where a saga has a beginning and an end, and if it doesn't end, I'm not interested. I want a story that has a start, a midpoint, and a finish.
Yep.
And if it's I don't do forever stories anymore. I used to love them as a kid, not anymore. I want a finish, an end.
Well, when you were a kid, the stories that were like the forever stories were the fucking cartoons that just kind of like you just watched over and over, right? They were serialized stories. Like, and I think that's the big distinction. They were serialized stories, and movies are by definition not really serialized. They're
I mean, there's
movies.
a reason why villains in a movie, despite always returning in comics, the villains always die in movie. Like,
Yeah.
you know the first Batman movie made by oh shit, what was it? The dude who did Nightmare Before
Oh,
Christmas.
Tim Burton.
Yeah, Tim Burton's Joker. Tim Burton killed off every villain in his movie. Penguin died.
Yeah.
Joker died. Sorry, guys. Spoiler warning.
Yeah. Penguin sucked. He was good. It was
No.
good that he died.
Oh no no. I
And
I like Penguin. He
yeah,
again to him it was the
I guess
freakish uncanny valleyness of him.
yeah. And I guess I should reevaluate. It's been a long time. I really did not like that. I was in a really like when that movie came out, I was into a really not into Tim Burton phase.
Ah, fair enough. Fair
Because I
enough.
was just tired of it. Like he had so much of his shit was just so overdone and goofy. And then he himself was like that just goofy, like
Yeah,
ostentatious, fucking pretentious goth guy stuff that was so fucking annoying. He looks like he's making a duck face.
maybe
Your drawing does. Your drawing making a duck face.
it does.
He's posing. He's making a duck face for the
Dude,
cube.
this motherfucker is the worst kind of he's the worst kind of fucking
Yeah,
fuck.
he's a sadist.
Yeah, he's a
He's making you
sadist and
suffer.
he's
He's like, fuck you.
yeah, he's the ultimate coomer. Of course he makes a fucking duck face. I gotta look good for my selfie. Now, pardon me while I yank you with your yank you with my
Tear you apart with
chains.
chains.
Hashtag
Yeah, because
relations. Sorry.
well, no. Relationship goals. I,
Jesus fucking Christ.
So anyhow, so in the movies, the third one, they're trying to be Hell on Earth, and then one of them was, I'm pretty sure one of them was called Hell World. That may have actually been third too. But there was one where they were trying to make, and I think it might have been the seventh one, where they were trying to make a giant, they were trying to make a giant cube in space. So they were trying to basically summon, like, open a giant portal to hell.
Oh, that was the time when everything had to go to space, right? Like,
Yeah.
even
yeah.
Jason Voorhees went to space.
Yeah, that's true, Jason. Yep, everything went to space at that time. And it was like when the third Hellraiser movie came out was kind of close to the time that like they started making all the Freddy Krueger movies, they started making all the fucking the Halloween movies. You know, it was really catching on the actually it wasn't at that same time. It was kind of catching on the end of that trend.
Yeah.
The movie, like the 80s monster movie thing, the slasher horror flicks.
I mean, again,
The Mike Myers and the Jason Voorhees.
some of them were good, and you had a good series. Of course,
Mhm.
hell, even the bad movies there have their own audience. Just
Oh yeah. Oh. Well, they have their own charm because at least they're fucking original. Some of them,
yep.
you know.
Hell, even the unoriginal ones have some originality. I mean,
Yeah. They,
compared to today, nothing is fucking original. Let's be fair.
right. Well, Hollywood's never grown past a certain point of. It's just how it seems. Like there's a point that Hollywood has not been able to get over in terms of writing.
Yep.
Because they're not smart enough to write good enough stories that are engaging,
you
actually
have to
engaging
be,
enough to smart people.
let me just put it like this: you have to be a human being to tell a good story.
That's true.
And the shit going down in Hollywood, I don't classify them as people anymore.
Yeah, there's a lot of NPCs
Not
doing
just
awful
NPCs.
things
I'm
in
talking.
Hollywood.
I'm talking about proclivities that would make the xenobites look chill.
Oh yeah. Well, yeah, of course there's horrifying degeneracy, but I think that's kind of a side effect of just the lack of originality and creativity. Again, it ties back to Hellraiser in that, like, Frank was jaded and kind of deluded by his desire for pleasure, his desire for experience.
Yeah.
Right, like he was just pushing it farther and farther every fucking time.
which is kind of similar to what we just, you know.
Yeah.
It's
Understand.
like you just gotta keep fucking pushing it. You just can't be, and nothing can be good enough, and it has to
Nothing can
be.
be sacred. Nothing
And
can be
yeah, and so much of
respected.
that Hollywood is so much stuff in Hollywood just seems to be so patently hedonistic and
Oh,
yeah, just decadent and degenerate, you know.
I'm kind of
Um,
glad the world doesn't work by Warhammer rules because fuck it, we would
oof,
because of
yeah,
Hollywood we would have our own Slanesh to deal with.
yeah, we'd have a Celestial, we'd have a Slaneshi invasion. We'd
Yeah,
have a yeah.
we'd murder fuck our own chaos god into existence.
Right.
Oh
Yeah,
Lord,
between between Slanesh and I don't know. Trying to think who has more sway right now.
I just think
Our
of
government's
Hollywood in general.
controlled. Our government's controlled by Zinch.
Yeah, there you go.
You know, the the health industry and the pharmaceuticals are all controlled by Nurgle.
Oh God, yeah.
The military-industrial complex is all corn,
Yeah,
and then our
corn,
culture's being run by fucking Slanesh.
right? That's just modernity by
uh,
itself. We could drag this one further on for other resemblances, but then I guess
yeah.
we'd get too far into Sultan's territory.
Right? Yeah, no kidding. We'll save
Which
that for
really just
tomorrow
goes to
for
show how
Sultans.
fucking captured our the things we love are.
Yeah, it's true. Oh, excuse me.
Don't.
Yeah, definitely. And it's and it was because we had nice things and other people saw that we had nice things, and so they had to come over and take those nice things, and once they realized that those nice things weren't exactly what they wanted, they just saw that we were enjoying it. They're like, "Oh, you guys are enjoying it. That must be nice." And so then they
I'm
take it
thinking
from you
it's
and
much less
say, "Oh,
that. It's not.
uh,
It's much less that. It's actually active malicious takeovers because you can't have an escape. You need to be hooked in 24/7 all the time. Like it's
oh yeah."
kind of fucking disgusting. And that's why they
Well,
hate and want to change everything you love because that removes your escape. That means you'll be plugged in. And if you ever start drinking the Kool-Aid, well then they win.
yeah.
And I hate them for it.
Yeah, but this movie came out in like 1989.
Yeah.
The book was written in 1989, or the book was written in 19. I think book was written in 1989, and I think the movie came out in 1990.
Oh shit.
Um, yeah, it
Almost
was
as
really
old as
quick.
me.
I said he wrote the book too. Yeah, yeah, you're youngin.
I'm just a real baby. Go.
Ooh.
Any?
What is that?
Yeah. Fuck, we
Um,
could be talking this for a long while, but I'm starting to finish up here, and the time is getting
yeah,
close
dude,
too. Holy shit.
it looks good. How long we been recording for?
1 hour and 14 minutes actually.
Oh, dang.
Yeah. Of course, there might be some editing changes, so who knows?
Oh
It,
yeah,
it
no,
all
that's
depends
okay.
on. It all depends on how Bezic does this.
Yeah, dude, I dig that brush.
Thank you.
That
It's
it's a cool
Jazza's
texture.
set. You know, Jazza's the brother
Oh yeah,
of
Shad. Yeah,
yep.
yeah, I watch him. I like Jazza.
Yeah, Jazza is a really good artist, and this is the construction of
Yeah,
the brush. I am in love with it because I love the grainy feel of it.
yeah, it looks really dope, dude.
Thank you.
Like, it's a good background. It's a good background for this picture like that.
Yeah, it's really good multi-purpose tool, really.
Yeah.
Let's see. Now, if I can do this as I wish it.
Mhm.
Let's see. Let's try out the bidder. Let's see what I
Alright.
can do. Let's see. So, you pretty much covered the different movies. Well, we haven't really gone far into it. It's kind of nice though, because that means people will have an incentive to watch it themselves. So it really
Yeah.
spoil the whole thing, which is good. But
I mean, and that they're movies from the '90s. You know, like a
yeah,
lot of them. I guess the last one was from I think the last one was in 20. Actually, I think they just made one in 2022. Let me
Yeah.
check.
I've seen that Pinhead and I'm not impressed.
Yeah, you know why? Put a chick in it.
Make it gay.
Make her gay.
I mean, she is a sadistic hedonist from another dimension, so it kind of makes sense, I guess.
Yeah, they did. They made it 2022. The first one, sorry, the first one. Okay, so no, I was wrong. The first one was in 1987. So he wrote the book in 86, and then the movie came out in 87. 88 was when the second one came out, and then the third one came out in 92. So it was in the mid 80s. So they came out when I was in elementary school,
Huh.
you know, or junior high. I was
Yeah.
in middle school, but yeah, 2022 is the 2022 is the latest one. Now I'm going to the Wikipedia. Gotta look up how many there are.
But yeah, it's kind of I like talking about this because while we didn't cover the movie that much per se, we covered the important part and we went through the books. I mean, it's a pretty short story and really like how things
Yeah,
happen.
it's a super short story.
Yeah, it's kind of fun to know that the physical adaptation or the visual adaptation isn't even the main guy from the book.
Yeah, it's kind of funny when you learn that.
Yeah, fuck, I love that. Like, have you
Yeah.
you've seen The Thing, right?
The John Carpenter movie?
I fucking love that movie. Yes.
Oh yeah, I fucking love that movie. Yeah.
You know it's based on a story called Who Goes There? Or
I'm not.
Frozen
Oh,
Hell.
I'm not surprised.
It's really cool. I've heard the audio of Who Goes There, and
Yeah.
I want to read the full story of Frozen Hell. Essentially the
So-
same, but that it's a bit the thing there is a bit reduced compared to the movie, but it's not weak. It's still fucking terrifying.
Yeah. I've heard that at the beginning of the thing there's operators there, and they say, and I don't know if it's in Norwegian or Swedish, but that they say that dog isn't a dog.
Yeah, they say det är ingen hund, det är en ting, which literally translates to that is not a dog, that is a thing.
Yeah, okay. So they say that in like the first 5 minutes in a different language. Like, I think that's a funny thing for John Carpenter to throw in there.
Yes.
You're like-
Kind of attention to detail.
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh, I just had to. Literally, it's the plot of the whole fucking movie.
It really is. It really is. Oh.
Oh man, I
That's so
love
fucking
talking about
good.
this. It's a movie I haven't watched, and I mean I haven't watched a whole damn thing,
Yeah.
and I kind of want to watch it, but it's hands full. There's a lot of military movies I kind of want to watch too.
Oh yeah.
But that is why I like having you along here, because A, we get really good conversation, and B, you can tell me about these cool monsters. Some of which I
Yeah,
know
nice.
about, some of which I don't know much about, and some I might even know as much as you do.
Yeah, there you go. Now you got a synopsis of the movie, so if you want
Yeah.
to if you
So-
want to watch it later, you'll
Yeah.
know what's going to happen.
He's gonna coom. He's gonna coom so hard that demons arrive.
Demons show up. God, that's so funny because that's just like that's exactly what the story is. So fucking good.
Fuck it, let's finish it like this. Fuck it, we're doing
You're gonna
this.
leave it out there. I'm gonna coom.
Oh, fuck it, we're keeping it. From serious to, well, it's seriously what the movie's about.
Yeah.
TLDR, baby. I'm gonna coom.
Uh,
So
That's fucking great.
Yeah. So I'm gonna be doing I'm going to be inviting you again for like, if you want to keep doing this, talking about different movie monsters from movies you like. For example, we can do
Yeah, hell yeah.
Godzilla, Predator, Alien. It's gonna be interesting to try. Anything or everything. Hell, we can even color video game monsters you like too. I love
Yeah, man.
drawing things like this, so whenever you feel like it, just hit me up, buddy, and we can just keep making these.
Yeah, for sure, dude.
Hell yeah.
Just gotta spend some time off the boat, dude.
Yeah,
But
I'm
it sounds like you're getting your. It sounds like you've got shit in order and you're getting back to like normal life or regular life, right?
yeah, it is. A lot is helped by moving back to my hometown. It's really nice.
Yeah. Oh yeah, I can only imagine.
Oh yeah. But
So.
so I guess we can just conclude this
Right.
this episode of Simply Sketchy. If you go down to the description below, you will be able to find different kinds of merch, which uses art I've designed myself. Or, in case you want your own drawing made by yours truly, you will find my Ko-Fi down below as well. And or you could just reach out to me on Twitter and DM me or at me, and we can work from there. I'm able to draw many different things. Hopefully, I can draw something that you want, and just know that I will do Not Safe for Work 2 if you really want to. It might not really be that good, though, let's be honest. And if you want some furry shit, that'll cost you fucking extra. Let's put it like that.
Yeah. If you
uh,
want dicks, he's good at those. He's seen lots of dicks. I have a hard time drawing women.
Don't fucking call me out like that, motherfucker!
How dare you?
Sorry, dude, I couldn't.
Hey, dude, I handed you that one on a platter. If you hadn't taken it, I would have been fucking offended. Okay, let's be fair.
Oh, man, yeah.
Yeah. So basically, I would also like to thank you for coming over, and you know, being a guest on this here, because it's always fucking hilarious having you around, man. I love it.
Dude, it's always my pleasure, man.
Yeah. You will find his the link to his channel down in the description. We call you of course Fat Dave because that's what you're called on Discord. But
Yep.
on YouTube, you're also known as Total Blackout Painting.
Yep. I'm Total Blackout Painting on YouTube. I'm Just Some Jerk on Twitter.
Yes. And,
or at Reverend Dave. That's my name on Twitter. But
praise the Reverend. Praise him.
yeah.
But I would also
That's-
like to mention that Dave is also artistically inclined, in which he is the best damn spray bottle, or what you call, what kind of art? Just tell a little bit about yourself, dude.
I do mostly spray paint art now. My channel is entirely spray paint art. I think there's a couple of things on there that aren't, but all my stuff's spray paint. It's the medium I work in the most, because it's easy. And over the year, or the past year or so that I've been doing it very heavily, I've just come to really enjoy the way that the way I can make things look. The way that's like you said with this brush. You like that brush because it puts layers. It does something cool. And sometimes I'll get a technique on a can and put down a layer of something and just think, wow, that was really cool. And
it
like
just fits, right? It just feels right. And that's the important thing when you, at least for me, the important thing when doing art, you gotta have fun and you gotta love what you do.
Yep. And the quick, because it doesn't take long to actually, like most of my paintings take probably about an actual 30 to 40 minutes, or let's say 20 to 15 minutes, and more than that, probably 20 to 40 minutes of actual painting, and a lot of the rest of the time is just waiting for shit to dry.
Yeah, or cutting the stencils.
Or
you got some really good stencils.
Yeah, thanks. Yeah, I do. I really enjoy cutting those stencils. They take a lot of time. Some of them. I've got some on the back burner that I need to cut. And sometimes I get too ambitious with I'll look at a design, I'm like, I can do this, and I'll print it out and I'll start cutting it and be like, I can't do this. Those lines are too fine. It's not gonna work.
Yeah. Oh, I get
I'm
that one.
I'm still toying with the idea of getting a laser cutter.
Ooh, that'd be cool.
Yeah. The only problem is like, well, I have 2 3D printers. I actually technically have 4 3D printers, but I have a resin printer that I use primarily. I have an FDM printer that we don't use very often. If I was gonna get a laser cutter, I would end up getting like I would get a CO2 laser cutter so that I could use it to cut wood and stuff like that too. But getting that would require me to put like a duct to go outside of my house, a fume hood basically for all the smoke and everything. So, which I could swing, but like, once I got to looking into it, it's like, I'm good. I would be into one for $400 at the very least.
It could be a future thingy.
Yeah, it's definitely a future.
Well,
no, because I just spent $300 on my cat this morning at the vet. So.
Oh. Well, you gotta treat
That was
family nice, even the non-human family members.
Oh yeah, well he's my boy. I gotta
Yes.
take care of him. You know.
Yeah. 2 or 4 legs, as long as you're part of your family, it doesn't really fucking matter.
Yeah. I'll post pictures of that in the Sultan's Discord.
Yeah, they're so adorable. And also,
he's got a good old wound and now a shaved ear. But so now I got 2 cats that have little chunks of fur shaved off of them. But
yeah, it's a little less fur in those kitty cats.
yeah.
But hey, it's better to miss a few hairs than having an open fucking gash on you.
Yep,
might become
for
a
sure.
cult, might be a cult created by it. Well, and with that, I would like to thank everybody for watching. Anybody new, please like, comment, and subscribe. Drop by Total Blackout Painting, do the same. And I would again like to thank you very much for joining me, Dave.
Oh, like I said, it's my pleasure, man. It's always awesome.
And with that, have a wonderful day. Goodbye, everyone.
Aloha.